Okay, one of my favorite things to do with the dogs is brain games. Now, in our first webinar, we talked about exercise, physical exercise as the #1 way to calm our dogs. But now mental exercise can also calm your dogs as well. So today we're going to talk about various things that you can do for brain games for your dogs. That's a lot of fun. First of all, any type of training is a brain game for your dog. So if you're even working on general obedience, you're doing a brain game with your dog. Anything to engage their mind is a brain game for the dogs. When I'm feeding the dogs, especially when I have another boarding school dog, I normally will feed their breakfast and dinner while I'm training. So they'll receive food as a reward for training what I'm working on for that particular dog. If I just feed the dogs, I'm not working with them, I'm not training them at that time, I will use a slow feeder for the dogs. So this is just something that is a maze, and the kibble falls within this maze, and it takes the dogs longer to eat out of the bowl instead of the dogs just free feeding. Just free feeding is pretty mindless. It's like us sitting in front of the TV and eating. It's very easy for us to do. But with these slow feeders, they make them in all different mazes. They have to slow down to eat the food. So I'll put kibble in there. Sometimes I will put some peanut butter in here and then have the dogs lick the peanut butter out of the slow feeder. I also use good old Cheese Whiz. Some of you might remember the cheese in the can. I use that on, I'll just squeeze it in the slow feeder as well for an extra treat for the dogs to eat. I will also use the Cheese Whiz. I have a lick mat for my puppy in her crate. It's a little mat that sits on the crate that she licks off, and it's the Cheese Whiz just sits on the crate. I grab that and I put it on the mat and reward her for being inside of her crate. So that's one thing that you can do during breakfast and dinner. Now, whoops, there goes one of my props I'll have to go get. If you don't have a slow feeder today, you can use muffin tins. And I just put little kibble in here, or again, peanut butter or Cheese Whiz in here, and it will take the dogs longer to eat. Another challenge that you can do is you can put a tennis ball inside the cupcake pan too. And you can use the big cupcakes, you can use the small cupcakes, but this is a way to slow down the dogs eating as well. Now, another fun thing that I do with the dogs for their eating, I just love this, and my dogs love it too. Well, Peehee does. She knows what it is. This is a object where she's, I know, sweetie, she's learned to press the button and then food comes out of here and she can eat. So let's demonstrate this. Okay, Peehee, stay. Peehee's really good at this. She loves this game. Stay. Okay. So she pressed the button and some kibble came out. And you can determine how much kibble comes out. But sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I will use this to feed Peehee. I wanted you to see that. I will use this to feed Peehee.
Now again, she loves this game, and I can put it all the way down the hallway. Uh-oh. And she knows to, there we go. She knows to press the button and go get her food. So that takes her longer. She's one that'll eat really, really fast. But this takes her longer to do. Okay, so how do we train this? Okay, I'm going to put Peehee away and get my puppy out who has no clue what this is. Okay, sweetie. This is my puppy Zazu. She has not seen this before. I wanted to show you how I train the dogs to do this. So, first of all, I'm just going to put down the button next to the food dispenser. And just out of her curiosity, her nose pressed the button. This is why I love, love, love brain games, because right now she's thinking, she's trying to figure out, what did I do to hear that noise and have the food come out? So this is what I love. She's thinking right now. And reward-based training is a lot of thinking. Okay. So I would let this go for a little bit. So right now she's very interested in the food dispenser. But I would let this go a little bit for her to figure this out on her own. The more you prompt your dog in training, the more you will have to continue prompting them. Okay, so she's digging at that. That's the wrong object. She smells the food inside. Smart girl. Zazu, here. So I'm gonna prompt her a little bit just for demonstration purposes. However, I would, if I was training this on my own, so if you decide to do this, here's Zazu. Oops. I would let them try figuring it out on their own. So I hit the button. I'm gonna show her. What's this? What's this? When her nose is over it, Zazu, hey, I'll press the button for her. Oh my. But again, if I was doing this on my own and I wasn't worried about timing, I would let her figure this out on her own. And that's a lot of what reward-based training is we wait for them to offer the behavior and then we reward them. Because this prompt, I don't want to be here. Whoa, she did it. I didn't press it. Good girl. I don't want to be here and have to prompt her all the time. As she gets better, I will move the button further away from the treat dispenser. Oh, is that good stuff? Is that good? Oh, that's a good girl. But look at that. She's trying to figure it out. I just love it. I don't know. I'm such an animal geek. I'm such a behavioral geek. I just love watching them figure it out. I just love it. I just love it. Good girl. Hey, what a smart girl. And then when I choose to move the dispenser away, I'm not going to move it on the other side of the room. I'm going to only move it maybe a foot away. Oh, now she's using her foot to try figuring it out. She was using her nose before. Now it's her foot. Okay, seriously, I could watch this all day, but this might be too... Uh-oh, are we missing food? I'm gonna reload and then put the dispenser away a little bit further away. So I added the food in here, and then see, you can decide how much food comes out. I normally put it at a very low level because Peehee will just start running back and forth, and eat a lot if she had her way. So this is great. Are you excited, Sue? I just had to show you how cute she is. Oh, here. Okay. Okay, Zazu, sit. Good girl. So this will be the first time I move it away. Okay, it's only about maybe it's 1.5 feet. Might have to move it a little closer. There we go. Oh, good. Well, I think I prompted her a little bit there, but that's okay. But again, the more you use prompts in your training with anything, the harder it is to fade away. Again, I'm such an animal geek. I just love watching them. Oh, plus she's so cute. Which one is it, Zazu? Which one is it? Here, try this one. Zazu. Zazu. Here. Now, if you have a hard time with your dog pressing the button, one thing that you can do is you can, whoops, you saw that I had my finger there and I pressed it for her, but you could also put a little smear of peanut butter on it so that they lick it. And they lick it to prompt them. Now, you don't want it to beep too much without anything coming out. They'll lose interest. Yeah, Zazu. Okay, Zazu, here's your button. You try again? That's a good girl. If your dog knows shake, you can also put out your hand here. And then as soon as they go to reach for it, hey! Oh, it's upside down. Oh. Okay, move on to something fun too. And when you're done with this, you want to pick it up and put it away. Otherwise, they'll eat all the food. Good girl, Zazu.
This popsicle, this is something else I super duper love. Whether you can help redirect your dog's attention when you have guests come over, or just a little treat for them. It's a popsicle holder, and I make these popsicles. In here I have peanut butter, I think I have chicken broth. Chicken broth and some kibble, and you just put it in here, close the lid. One of my clients introduced me to this. Thank you, Sam. And she'll gobble this up and be entertained. Let's leave it. Good girl. She'll be entertained while I'm finishing up this video. Good girl, sweetie. Okay, let's go. Tilly's here. She's going to help me demonstrate this next fun game that I like to play with the dogs. It's pretty easy. You want to grab 2 or 3 cups that the dogs cannot see through. And it's like the dice game that you mix the dice. Tilly does not know this one, so I'm going to start with 1 cup and some kibble. Tilly, sit. Good. Stay. Okay, Tilly. What are we doing, Auntie? Tilly. Again, I'm prompting her. Okay, so she wasn't sure, so I just lifted the cup and let her know that I have some goodies under there for her. Good girl, Tilly. What I'm waiting for her to do is nuzzle the cup or paw at it. confused, so I'm really helping her out. Grab some more goodies. But you see why I only start with one that has the food inside to set the dogs up for success. Okay, what I'm going to do, because she's not showing interest in pawing or nuzzling the cup, I'm going to get something of higher value. So this is just kibble. So I'm going to go get some cheese, or I think I have hot dog, which hopefully will motivate her a little more. Okay, I have a hot dog this time, which might be a little more enticing for Tilly and smelly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub some of the hot dog juice on the outside of this to make, again, a prompt for her to lick the lid or the cup for me to open it. I have a piece of hot dog in my other hand. Good girl, sweetie. Her leave-its are so good. She's like, I know I shouldn't be messing with this. Over here, sweetheart. Now, in training, if you're ever at a roadblock and your dog is just not getting it, end with something positive. Don't end in like, you're not getting it, frustration. End with something positive. Hey, Tilly. Girl. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the hot dog just sticking out of the bottom. Oh, here. Back up a little bit. Tilly. Have the hot dog sticking out of the bottom a little bit. So with Tilly, I'm going to end the session there. I had a little bit of hot dog sticking out of the bottom of the cup. She was licking the hot dog, moving the cup, so I lifted the cup to reward her. How you move on from here is you want your dog to reliably go to that one cup, either nuzzle it with their nose or paw it with their paw, lift the cup and give them a goodie. Then what you're going to do is add 2 cups. One cup will have a treat underneath, and you can show them where you're putting the treat if you would like. And you have your 2 cups. Now you're interested, aren't you? You have your 2 cups, put your goodie underneath, and then have them go to the 1 cup. Don't mix the cups up yet. Okay, give them the treat. Then what you can do when they're reliably going to the cup with the treat, then you can mix up the cups. Mix up the cups on the floor and have them try to guess. If the one they paw, lift up the cup, and they can have their goodie or not have their goodie. It depends if the goodie's underneath there. But when they're doing well with 2, then you can add your 3rd cup to it and just make it a fun game. Have them guess where the goodie is underneath the cup. Great brain game. Easy tricks to do. Some of you have done these in the classes already to work on with your dogs. And again, with the weather the way it is, all of you should have this by the end of the weekend. He's getting so many more treats than normal. Okay, so again, real tangible, quick behaviors that you can train. Very easy. Shake, high five, and wave. Because I feel it's 3 behaviors in one. Peeky, here, sweetie. Good. So with the shake, the hand signal is just the hand out, shake. Good. Verbal cue is the word shake. And how I train this is, good girl, sweetie, is I just tickle. Oh, good sit, pretty. I'm gonna take that. You just tickle behind their leg. And when they reach up, because it tickles, then I take the paw and shake.
Good girl, sweetie. Good girl. Shake. Good girl. Good girl. Now you can physically lift up your dog's paw and do it on your own. But again, we're doing a lot of the thinking for the dogs, and they will learn faster if they, good girl. They will learn faster if they're doing the thinking on their own. So that's why, again, with the reward-based training, good girl. That's a very good girl. Reward-based training that, it's creating a thinking dog. So from your shake, which is this hand signal, high five is super simple because you just move your hand like so. Pee, high five. And it is so cute, and people think it's really cute, and it's not very difficult to train. Good, high five. Good, because you're just using your shake hand signal, but moving your hand in a different manner. Your dog should know shake before, yes, that's a good girl. Your dog should know shake before moving on to the high five. Then wave, your hand signal for wave is just waving. And very simple hand signal. She knows the high five. So I'm just pulling my hand away. Pee, sit, good girl. Oh, can you sit, pretty? I'm just grabbing this behavior. I want her to learn to sit pretty, and she's doing it. So it's nothing that I was trying to teach you guys, but just showing how I'll go with the flow with things. Good girl. So for her wave, good girl, good wave, Pee. Good girl. You just have your hand a little bit away from their paw. Wave, good, wave. And when they lift up to try giving you a high five, you capture that behavior and just say wave. Good girl, Pee, wave. Wave. Good girl. That's a good girl. So those are 3 behaviors I always teach because it's 3 in 1. It's super easy. Other behaviors that you can do is a spin and a twist. So for my, let's leave that alone, sweetheart. My spin, the dogs will be here, Pee, on my, what side is this? On my left-hand side. Pee. I have a treat. Pee, come here, sweetie. Good. And I'll slowly bring the treat. Okay, she's getting really confused. So before I lose her attention, I'm just going to have her do something I know she knows. Pee down. Good girl. So that I can reward her and not build up that frustration. Okay. So for the spin, she's on, hey, good girl, spin. She's on my left-hand side, and I'm going counterclockwise. Good, spin. Good, spin. If you move your hand too fast, they're not going to follow the treat. So go nice and slow. Good girl. Good girl, spin. Good girl. And twist. Twist is on my right-hand side, and I'm going clockwise. And I find a lot of times the dogs are not ambidextrous. So what I'm doing here for Pee is I'm just rewarding her for at least following the treat so she doesn't get frustrated. Oh, there we go. Good, twist. So again, spin is left-hand side counterclockwise. Twist is right-hand side clockwise. Spin. Good girl, Pee. So again, 5 behaviors right there. You could have those trained with your dog's breakfast or dinner. Really, really easy to do. Just grab some kibble and work with them there. A book that I really, really like is 101 Dog Tricks by Kyra Sundance and Clancy. And again, I'll have that in my newsletter as well. 101 Dog Tricks by Kyra Sundance. She does a great job with having step by step how to train the tricks. And she labels it from easy to more advanced. You can actually get a trick dog certification from her or the AKC, American Kennel Club. And those of you who have passed your Canine Good Citizen, you're already steps ahead, because I think they require 15 behaviors, and part of the behaviors you can use the Canine Good Citizen test. So you're already at 10 behaviors there. So you're already steps ahead. I'm going to see if there's, that's the chat, if there's any questions here. Spin and twist are Cooper's favorites. That's good. Technical difficulties. Yep, brain games are great. Yes, Janine, they are. Okay. No questions there. Does anybody have questions? I have been again receiving so much wonderful feedback from everybody on the webinars, and I've had people ask some questions that I would definitely like to address, because I know if one person has the question, many people are going to have the question. And this question, yes, Aulani?
I have a question about tricks. Are there
Yeah.
like certain tricks that we shouldn't be teaching our dogs? You know, like, I don't know, some that are like not good. Like, I know some people are against
Tug?
shaking hands or something like that. I before, when I first got Olive, they're like, oh, don't teach your dog to shake hands because then they're gonna paw everything or something. But I mean, she does. But is there other, like, I was wondering, because my her sister has a problem with getting into things. Like, she'll go into all our drawers and closets and everything. This is Basil. This is Olive's sister. So I was like, oh, if we have Olive find it, is she gonna do things like Basil and start trying to get into everything? Or is that just the dog's personality? Like, Basil just doesn't know boundaries.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. They give Basil too much freedom. That's what I would think. And Basil's been reinforced by getting in drawers, whether it's finding the things in the drawers or the reactions that her family gives her when she gets items out of the drawers. And with regards to certain tricks not to train, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know there's controversy on playing tug with the dogs, but I personally love tug because it's a great way to work on impulse control with the dogs. You don't let them have the toy until you tell them it's okay, and then they should leave the toy when you're done playing. And that's a lot of times they're in a heightened state of arousal when you're asking them to leave the toy alone. So it's great training for the dogs. And if you do run into any problems, I'm always here to help you. But I would say a lot of that would be dogs' personalities and temperaments. But Aulani, I'm going to address your question that you had through email. So Aulani, who is just speaking, has an almost 2-year-old golden retriever, Olive, and she just loves the beach. But when they go to the beach, it seems like all her obedience goes out the window. And that's pretty darn common. So one thing that I like to tell owners, and nobody likes this answer, is that if you're at the beach and your dog does not have a reliable recall, don't take them off the leash. Use a long leash so that they still have freedom, but you still have control over the dogs, so that you can work on the recalls. They're at the end of their long leash. You ask them to come, reward them, and then let them go again. But if you have your dog off leash, they're running and they ignore you when you ask them to come back, they're learning that they don't have to listen to you. So setting your dog up for success. And maturity is a big one. So Olive being 2, she should have her impulse control down and she should be calming down a little bit, but she's not right now. So you might be at the golden age of 3 where you're going to have a more calm dog. I normally have told owners it's 1 year and 5 years that you notice a huge difference in your dog's energy level or impulse control, but over the years, I've been moving it to 2 years and 5 years. Some dogs get the 3-year mark. Other dogs like Glenn and Cooper, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years. I don't know. And Irene with, yes, Glenn?
I have but the long leash, it feels kind of dangerous, like, cause she like burned my, like when we like got kind of like a burn like on my daughter, cause the leash like comes, she's like zooming all over the place, and then the leash got tangled on my daughter's leg, and then it just kind of like gave her a really bad rope burn.
Yes.
And then another time too, like when we had the long leash, it was with another dog, and the dog was going crazy. And then it almost like burned another lady. And so she was like really mad at me. She's like, I don't like that long leash. I don't know why you have it on. She was like scolding me. And I was like, sorry.
Yeah, that definitely I have marks to testify to that. So another thing that you can do is you can go to the beach, go to a certain area that you feel safer. And I find with Kailua Beach towards the end, like where Obama was,
Yeah.
that's kind of a little more contained, and let her off leash that way. But again, you're doing it at times where letting her off leash, you're doing it at times where you don't have to check your watch and be somewhere at a certain time, because then all of a sudden there's the stress of, gosh, we have to get her. You want to be able to have ample amount of time, work on your recalls. And again, super high reward treats. That's maybe where you bring the leftovers from the night before, hot dogs, or boil some chicken before you leave, a treat that she normally doesn't have, to be able to reward her for a job well done. And what's great is that you ask her to come, you reward her with lots of goodies, and then you let her go again. That's the ultimate reinforcement. It's not asking your dog to come and then taking away their fun, putting them on leash and then leaving the beach. I try never to say come and then leave the beach. I just try getting the dogs and going without saying the word come, because I don't want to have any negative connotation to that.
I have another question about so we still have turkey I set aside for Olive from Thanksgiving. You think it seems like it's still good, but it's been a week. Do you know? Is it bad? Can I give it to her still yet? Or is it like I should toss it? It's already been a week, because it smells fine.
Yeah, honestly, I the reason why I was laughing so hard is that I went through the same thing, and I ended up throwing it away on garbage day, so it was Tuesday. So I think as long as it smells okay and it's not slimy, you're probably okay. But today would be the last, I would say the last day for Olive, not for you, but for Olive to have that. The dogs have a little bit more of an iron stomach.
Thank you.
Yes. But having a calm dog at the beach, you guys, is setting your dog up for success. Don't let them off leash if you have to go somewhere soon after letting them off leash, because you don't want the panic. As soon as you start panicking, your dog can feel that energy and is more than likely going to stay away, because they don't want to have that panic energy as well. And then just knowing that with continued training, your dogs will just get better. And whenever I'm in a new place, I normally use really high reward treats, something that they normally don't receive. And working on your recalls that way is great. Actually, a recall webinar I was thinking of having too, because I know everybody needs to work on their recalls. Anytime your dog turns to check on you if they are playing, go ahead and reinforce that. That's really good. And whether it's verbal praise or a goodie, that's fine, but you don't have to food reinforce your dog every time. Good questions, Aulani. That was great. Any other questions? No? Okay, so I really look forward to receiving feedback from some of these brain games. Again, you have your food-based brain games or train your dog some tricks. And you can always look up brain games for your dog and you'll get a list of brain games online. But any type of training you do with your dog can be a brain game and tire your dogs out as well. But physical exercise is number one. Okay. If there's not any questions, I'm going to stop the recording here.